Hello and welcome to another edition of your favourite podcast, Insane in the Membrane.
Insane in the Membrane.
Greetings, one and all. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Insane in the Membrane again with me, Rich Wilson. I hope you're well. I hope you're doing good. By the time when we recorded this, by the time this goes out, because we record some of these in advance. I don't know how many prime ministers we would have had by then. Probably, I don't know. I mean, you don't need to have one a week. It's getting to the point. I mean, it's getting to the point we're all going to have a go, aren't we? It's like, I don't know. It's just, I think when a party has got no leader, you just got to go, right, well, let's do, I don't know. I don't pretend to know anything about politics, but I know that it's a fucking joke. Anyway, that's not why we are here. Do you know what? Regardless of your political beliefs, Insane in the Membrane is for everybody, because we want everybody to have a better, mental health. That's why we're here. We want you to look after yourselves. We'll get through it. I'm sure we will. We'll get through it. Don't worry. So yeah, it's been, what have I been doing? Gigging, chucking myself around the countryside, doing what I do, making people laugh. Christmas will soon be upon us. That's coming. That comes around quick, doesn't it? That. So I'm actually looking at getting Kate and I are getting a real tree. Yeah, so I want to get a real tree, so that's going to be fun. I'm not done that for a while. We have to go. I tell you who's got good decorations though. TK Maxx. Now, listeners will know that frequent listeners will know that I love the Maxx. Love TK Maxx. I've got my head around it now. I know what to do. I know how to go through it quickly. I know to the uninitiated, you look at those racks and you go, there's too much here. But no. You get to know the decent fabrics and the decent bits and bobs, and you get your Le Creuset stuff in there cheap as well. So I love the TK Maxx, but their Christmas decorations are banging. So I'm going to be winging my way over to the nearest TK Maxx, get myself some Christmas decorations. That'd be cool. Anyway, I'm wittering. This week's guest is an old friend of mine, Mark Baxter, or Bax as he's known. I met Mark, blimey, getting on for, it must be 15 odd years now, and I met him through the singer Darren J. Connick, who's another mate of mine. We'll have Darren on at some point, I'm sure. I need to sort that out actually. And I wanted to get Mark on a couple of years ago. We talked about it, and then obviously the pandemic happened, and it didn't happen. And then I was like, I must talk to him. And then Mark's one, like we cover it in the episode. Mark's one of those people that we don't see each other very often, but when we do, we get on like we saw each other yesterday. It's a beautiful thing. He's a top dude, and he's achieved so much. He's made documentaries, and he's written books, and he's made films, and he's a real inspiration. Is Mark, and I wanted to get him on just to have a chat with somebody. He's from a similar neck of the woods as me, similar upbringing, and so I just wanted to. It's nice to hear someone like that, talking about mental health, talking about their feelings, and the chat actually went, because this is the thing with these, because I always say to the guests, like, look, the floor is yours. You go wherever you want to go, talk about whatever you want to talk about. My job is just to listen and chuck a few questions here and there. And honestly, the time whizzed by, and we could have just chanted on for ages. He's a top man. I love him dearly, and you'll hear that in the episode. By the end of this, I think you're going to love Bax as much as I do. So let's get on with it, shall we? So coming up in a minute is Mark Baxter.
A podcast from producer Paul.co.uk.
Insane in the Membrane.
This is how we start. There's no big intro.
Okay.
We just get chatting, and it's just like it's like two fellas having a chat in the pub. That's it. So we cover all. It goes wherever you want it to go.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I've listened to quite a few actually. And
nice one.
So yeah, I mean, I understand this sort of format and stuff, and happy to where it'll go where it goes. You know what I'm like. Let you start in a pub anyway.
I've had to knock it on the head a bit, to be honest, because only because it was getting silly. It was like every day. I was like, I'll just have a pint. And then I'll just have that, and I'll just have that, and then all of a sudden you're like,
that, is it?
No, it's never just that. And there's certain. I was talking about this the other day to someone else, and I just went, there's certain pubs in London that I know if I go in them, at some point someone I know is going to come in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you have to kind of swerve it.
Remember that one, because the people we know will not let you have that one. It's just I'm having a one, and they'll all smile at each other, going, "Yeah, right, mate, whatever." It's not a doable thing, mate.
No, it's not. And what's funny is that even people that I might not have met, they all know you, and then something happens. We'll clock someone's garments, and I'll go, nice coat, mate. I know it's this. Or we get chatting. And then it turns out they go, no backs. Oh, fucking yeah, I know backs.
I do get told that a lot. I don't know. I must have been quite active socially at one point. I don't do as much now.
No.
COVID knocked the bollocks out of me completely.
No, really?
Oh yeah. I was proper ill. I had 10 weeks of that.
Oh, mate.
And, I never really come back. I went back to work and that, but I just lost interest in. Actually, it was people. It's just I was like. As a group of people, I see them all the time, fine. It was all the other people around I was trying to work with and do things with, and I didn't like them. If I didn't like them, I was struggling anyway, but I put up with it because it was work. And I come back and that gone. That tolerance level had completely gone, and it hasn't come back. So I tend to avoid, if I can, I just stick to what I know, and I lost a little bit of work, and I haven't really gone chasing for any new work. I managed, financially was okay, so I thought I'll just sit tight for a little while and see how it goes. And that means your social stuff drops off, because it's like you do a bit of work in Soho, and it's like, right, all down the pub. Yeah. You're there like 3 or 4 hours, and I've sort of stopped that myself, actually. I mean, I'm still doing it like with certain people, but not like randomly. I'm trying to cut the random stuff out. It got too much for me, really.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean, mate. 2 seconds before we carry on, can you move your camera a little bit? You've got like a shadow or something. Yeah, that's it.
How's that?
That's the one. Yeah, lovely. Nice one, mate. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's one of them. There's certain people that I'm really good mates with, and they're the same actually. They've been going, I found it a bit weird after COVID, like, going out, and I think we all have. I think we're all having there's a bit of PTSD from it all. Yeah,
someone said that the other day to me, actually, because I was really ill, and I think it might be a little bit like that going on, because when we first come out, after the lockdowns, I found it really hard. I was very anxious. I'm not an anxious sort of person, really.
No.
So I was going out, but I was actually meeting people, large characters, like big lumps and characters, and they were saying the same thing. All I wanted to do is go home, get out, do what I got to do, and get home. Yeah. I was feeling the same thing. In fact, Lou, my missus, said to me, "What are you rushing back for? You normally go out and you're out." I was, I'm done. I'm out there doing what I need to do. I want to get home. So that anxiety was there for a little while, and it's gone now. I mean, I'm a bit more relaxed about it, but it has definitely changed my sort of outlook on it all, on loads of things, really. And I think for the better, if I'm honest. I've just reached 60 the other week, and that is a landmark age 60. You're thinking, it's a bit of a cliche, but it actually is. I was very reflective leading up to it. I kept thinking back to people, and my dad died at 65.
Oh,
I keep thinking, that's only 5 years. Yeah. It seemed 65 seemed quite old. It's not old anymore. And I got very reflective on that. And but once I reached the age, once at the birthday, I've had a great time. I've been out with family and friends. I've had a great time. And now I'm more relaxed. I accepted the 60. I accepted that's probably the end of part 2. There's part 3 coming up. And it's a bit slower. It's a little bit slower. You know what I mean? I'm quite happy with that. Go on, that'll do. I've done the other bit, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on too much.
No, I mean that's it.
A little bit, but I don't feel like I am.
That's exactly it. It's that fear of missing out. That's what used to drive me before. Yeah. I was all like you've said, I was like, I've got to go and do that. I need to go and see that person, do that thing. Yeah. But really, you end up in the same kind of place with the same sort of people. Yeah. And you're like, I've done this 1,000 times now.
I mean, me and you are the same, really. We used to go the same sort of things, didn't we? Yeah. I used to say, hello, I better go, because you never know, you might bump into somebody. And you'd go, who'd you bump into? Oh, Rich, Darren.
It's always same faces.
Which was lovely. But
yeah, of course it was.
Phil, but you see him again a couple of days later, and it was never really. So the point of the night was just having a drink and a catch up. And he was like, I'm not quite sure why I did that. And then now I don't. I mean, there's a couple of things I've not been to late recently, and I think I should have gone. And I started going again. And halfway through, I kept thinking, how do I get home from here?
Oh, yeah.
Once you start thinking how'd you get home, you shouldn't really be there. You shouldn't really be there. You're not really enjoying it for the right reasons, are you?
I had that conversation with my ex-partner, and it was India, India.
Yeah.
And I remember her once, and she just went. She goes, I said something. It was about going to Boogaloo over in Highgate, and she went, yeah, but how would we get home from there? And you're like, well, if you're thinking that before you've even gone, you don't really want to go.
No, people say, "Is you fancy this?" And I used to say, "Yeah." I didn't really think about it. I was like, "Yeah." So I committed myself to it, and then I still doing that. And about a year ago, I suppose, I started saying yeah. And on the day, I was thinking, I wish I'd said no. I wish I'd said no. I don't want to go now. I don't want to get out of this chair. I don't want to turn this television off. And that was a sign, because I know it used to be the first one down there or running around, and it's just basically getting old. I think it's basically getting old and settling for what you got. I mean, I've done all right. I'm okay with what I've done. I don't need to do a hell of a lot more. And one or two things would be nice, but not massively need that anymore. The need for it's gone. The drive and the desire. I mean, other people obviously want to do other things, but I think I might have reached that point, and I've just got to get used to the idea, really. It's acceptance of that is what I'm going through at the moment. It's just trying to work out, the next moves without feeling like you're missing out anything. And I know I'm not really.
No. But you've achieved so much in the sort of short space of time I've known you. Yeah. You've gone on your career's it's gone on leaps and bounds, and you've achieved all manner of things. And then and every time I see your photos, you're like, you're with this person or you're with that person. I'm like, what's he up to now? And there's, I think you get to a point now where you're doing things because you want to do them. Like you said, you're not doing them because you're like, I need to do that because that's going to push me to this bit. You're like, you've achieved so much. Like, you wrote The Mumper with Paolo, and then that became a film that had Bob Hoskins in it, and all that. And you're like, that was
ridiculous.
Mad, isn't it? Was it his last movie?
It was last British, last UK movie. But it was. I mean, even you saying that, I sort of sit here thinking, I don't really know how that happened. But I mean, obviously, I wrote the book, but the book was self-published. That was the mad thing. Yeah, there was no publisher. No one wanted the book, so it was just sitting there. So I said, I'll just get 10 printed. I had 10 copies printed. Went round to the local pub, which the book was about, and give them away. I said, lads, I've written a book about a pub, about you and the pub and my old man and that. And my old man had been dead a little while. And I thought, that's it. Walk away, there's your 10 copies, you've achieved the book, see you later, crack on. And then I started getting phone calls going, can you get us number 5 of them? Really enjoyed that. I give it to my son, he loved it, give it to his mates. And I end up self-printing 900 copies, which is quite a lot, really, with no bookshop. It's like literally, I say to people, sold them in pie and mash shops and pubs and betting shops, and it's the truth. Yeah. I mean, most of my clients are scaffolders and builders, and they've not read a book since they were 14, and they're just about read a paper. So, and I was getting that sort of audience, and then it ends up in the hands of someone, and he says, I like this, and it ends up with someone who says, I know Universal Films, and I know someone who knows Bob Hoskins and Jenny Agutter, and you're sort of sitting there thinking, this is just potty. I mean, I have no control of it now. That's why the name changed and all that. But that's okay. It was the opportunity that once that went through all those gears, I started thinking, if this becomes a film, that's a year's money, right? That's at least a year's money. So I can pack up work. Yeah. And the opportunity was like a flashing light bulb going, now you go for it. This is the time. You're 38, where I was. There's your opportunity. You go for it. You've got a lot of energy at the time, and you've got a lot of ideas, and you're just waiting for someone saying, you need some work. You need a piece of work to validate all those ideas, and that becoming a film with Universal with Bob Hoskins in it, people started taking it serious. I started thinking, well, if you've done that, you can do this, and then you get offers. But Richard, I know you for a long while. We were way back before all that, and it was just we wouldn't, like yourself, with ideas. But what'd you do with them? How'd you get them out there? I always thought there was some sort of secret door. You go through this door, and all the celebs on the other side going, welcome. We know that isn't the case, you know what I mean? But I really thought that. And then once I think what it is with us, like yourself, you see an opportunity and you think, right, I'm not going to waste that. Yeah, I'm not going to waste that. But it takes a lot of graft, a lot of hours, time, sacrifice. And a lot of people say to me, because I sound like I've just come off the docks, they say to me, well, you done it, I can do it. I said, well, go on in, off you go. No one's stopping you. But I know that that's a difficult thing to do. It takes a lot of effort. And then, if nothing else, I've always had a lot of other ideas. I've always had plenty of ideas. And it's just then making them into projects and products, really. But once you go through that system, learning how to do it, you meet good people along the way, and then you realise they're the way through. They're the people that help you. There's no magic formula. You have to meet these people, get on with them people, and then they say, look, go and see him, go and see her, have that meeting, have a cup of tea. And it is that. It really is that. And then you go through the gears. I mean, I've now written 27 books. If you'd have told me that when I first knew you, I'd have probably hit you on the head with one of them. Shut up.
What are you chatting about?
It was like, no one's more surprised than me, mate. Honestly, no one's more surprised than me. No, seriously, I mean that, mate. I really mean that. Really
but it's that. We come with very similar backgrounds. Yeah. But there is that. It is that you got something in you just going, just try that. Just try that. Yeah. Again, the other day, it might have been on one of these episodes, and I was going, it's just about saying yes to things. People, things come along, I go, yeah, go on in, I'll do that. That's how I became a comedian. That's how I became doing whatever I'm doing. Yeah. Just by going, yeah, go on in. All right, I'll give that a bash. And then like you say, going out and someone goes, do you want a cup of tea? You go, yeah, I'll meet you for a cup of tea. Yeah. And then from that, conversation starts and ideas get bounced around, and that's why it's important to be connected. And I think that's what we struggled with. This comes up a lot on here, is that when we had the lockdowns, we were all disconnected from each other. Yeah. And I think that that's affected us more than we realised, Yeah, I mean, what we did was, there was a group of us. I mean, I'm talking about, I'm a Millwall season ticket holder, but don't let that put you off. And there was a group there, 25 Andy down there, and it's the most mixed bunch of people you can think of. And we didn't see each other. We only see each other at football. We never really keep in touch outside football, but, home games. So there's 9 months of a year, we sit every other Saturday together, and we talk, and we, what you're up to. And no one would believe I've even written a book or any films. They don't believe any of that. Yeah. Only when they heard me on Robert Elms once, they went, oh, I heard you. I thought you was talking a lot of old bollocks. But then I've become known as J.K. Rowling. That's what they called me then. I said, I wouldn't mind being a pound note behind her. But anyway, my point was, we all missed each other, so we set up a WhatsApp group and we kept in touch like that. So that was the football, but and then the work and social stuff. I must be honest, we started breaking the lockdowns. We started going into the West End. We started having really quiet cups of tea in the back of a cafe that he let us in. Right. Because we were missing each other on that level of just talking to people face to face. I mean, we all did a million Zooms, and it was okay, and it kept us alive, and we did work like that, and that was put some food on our table. But the social interaction, but not like drinking, not beering it up, just literally speaking to someone face to face, and a lot of people said lots of things at those meetings that I don't think they would have said normally. They would have left it and thought maybe when things got really bad, they might have said it, but because they were in that position, they thought I better do it now because I'm not sure when I'm going to see them again. So we had those conversations. It was quite interesting in a sort of experimental sort of way, but it cemented that group of people because we're now doing that regularly now, where we didn't do it before. Yeah. In fact, I'm doing one tomorrow. People get a call saying there's 6 people. It's literally a cup of tea for an hour, blah, 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 and then gone. And that could be another 6 weeks. But I think that's what's come out of it, the realisation that there's a certain group of people you want to keep in touch with and find out they're okay and all their people are okay and everything's going okay with them. If it's not, let us know. Tell us. Yeah. But that's it. That's the thing. There's this thing that's saying people of our age, our generation, the generation before, and all that, didn't really talk about what they were going through. But they did. But they did in a certain way. They might not have gone into greater detail, but you'd have known if something was up. Meeting up in the cafe having a cup of tea. You'd know if one of your mates was struggling a little bit, or what was nice about the Mumper was the story about all the generations meeting in that same pub. And that's how men of a certain generation would talk about their feelings.
Yeah, but it was definitely pub culture. There was no. I mean, I say 75% of that book's true. You know, like there's obviously an element of fiction in there to make it a story. But going to the pub and then, but my dad was a guy who would never really open up about anything. He died of bladder cancer at the end, but he never told me till about 6 months before he died that he actually was ill, and he'd been ill for about 3 years. He hadn't told me.
Hell.
Yeah, because he would sort of think, well, it's my problem, I'm going to get on with it, and he never mentioned anything in the pub. And I do remember when he was ill that people were saying in the pub, well, you should have told me, John. And he went, well, it's not the sort of, I don't want to spoil your Sunday.
No, bless you.
So it was a different, I mean, they come out at a different time, I think, them guys. I mean, my dad would have been in his 80s, 85, 6. They come out, they're different people, you know, they would have been a different, like, in fact, he would have said, if you'd have said anything like that, they'd go, oh, shut up, you tart.
Right, yeah.
And it would have been that. Whereas now I think if you told me or someone rang me and said that, I go, right, let's go and get some, let's go down the health centre, let's get some pamphlets, let's go and find someone.
Yeah.
I think I would definitely do that now. I mean, and I know a lot of people would go through the same process, and it goes for the same thing with mental health. It's all part of the same thing, isn't it, really, I suppose?
Yeah. Do you feel it's still difficult to open up? Because I know because I come and go. Sometimes I'm really good at it, and then sometimes the old ways come piling back, and I'm like, I'm not going to bother people with that. I'm going to just keep it to myself. And
I think I would tell people, because I have done since a mate of mine committed suicide 9 years ago, and that was a real traumatic. That's the only one I've ever known that close do that, and that changed everything, because I spoke at the funeral. I tried to. I got halfway through and I couldn't do it. And then at the drink afterwards, a guy walked up and said to me, "Give me a business card." I said, "You're going to need that." And I said, "What is it?" He said, "It's a counselling service, because you're going to need counselling." And I said, "No, I'll be all right." I'll put it in my pocket. And he told me that, the guy told me that his nephew had committed suicide when he was 18, the kid, over a puff deal for 500 quid. And he said, "I've never got over that." And that was like 10 years ago. And he gave me the card, and he was a good mate, right? And so I said, "Oh, I'll put it in my pocket." And I was ringing it within 3 weeks. I was ringing him up saying, "Look, I was just drinking too much. I was trying to blot out that." I didn't really talk to Lou about it, my wife. I was just trying to blot it out. And then going through that counselling, which wasn't face-to-face, because I couldn't get an appointment. It was over the phone and emails and stuff, but they tipped me off on loads of little links to check out and read up on, and he realised he couldn't really do a lot, so I felt a lot of guilt, really. That's what
really?
Guilt. But since then, I am very proactive in that. If I don't say to people, "Look, tell me if you're in trouble," but if I sense it, I'm on it. I'm saying, "Look, go and see someone," you know. And I play golf every couple of weeks, every fortnight, and the guy I go with, we just go. Golf's completely secondary. It's more about, we spend 2.5 hours walking around chasing a white ball, telling each other our little secrets we don't tell anybody else, even the wife, because we need that bloke on bloke thing, and that's what's come out of that. Things like that, which is we say, and people say, "Oh, I didn't know you play golf." I come around here and go, "No, mate, no, ain't about the golf." Ain't about the golf. It's about the bake and roll at the end of it, admittedly, but it is more about, you know, this happened. What do you think of this? But should I do that? You know, it's asking advice, really, and that's what's come out of that, because that isn't the only person I do that with, but it's more one-on-one and a group level, really, because it tends to descend quite quickly into a load of nonsense when you go in a pub. You know, once you have a couple of drinks, it's hard to have a serious conversation about anything important, really, like that. We might be one-on-one in the pub, but as you say, you go out and someone says, "All right, lads, and can I join you?" And it's gone. That moment's gone. So I try to do it. Maybe at football, you know, on a quiet at football, stand there talking half time with somebody, or I say to golf, but also meeting up with people. You know, when I'm out on the job, they ring me, I'll ring them, and they say, like, "Do you fancy a quick coffee?" So yeah, I think I've that changed me. I like to think I would, if I had anything really bad going on, I would say it to Lou or a very close couple of mates, and I think so far I've done that since that happened. Yeah.
I think it's one of the, like you said about like feeling guilty, and you go, because I know you're talking about, and it's one of them, because no one. If you don't see it or don't, the other things as well, like you get caught up in your own sort of life and shit's going on, and then you think they seem all right, and and then when because I do remember, and it was a shock, and you kind of go, but I was talking to him the other week, and he was telling me about my loafers. He was saying like, always wax your loafers, mate. Don't just leave them. And I'm like, he was telling me about my shoes the other day. How's this? And you go. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't close to him like you were, but you go, how did that happen? And you go, so yeah, it takes something like that to change your view on it and make you more aware, which is a shame. But
it wasn't the biggest shock in the world, if I'm completely honest. It was like we lived very close to each other, so I saw him a lot. I saw him 3 or 4 times a week. And we did quite a lot of events together, and we ran things together. But every now and again, you arrange to meet, and he'll turn up, and within half hour, I've got to go. I can't handle it. And he looked very clenched. He looked very clenched up sometimes. And we had talks. And I did hear he'd say like, "I'm struggling a bit." I thought it was work. He was a very busy man, as you remember. He was very, very busy. I mean, ridiculously busy. I mean, to the point. That's something else I learned. Don't overdo that either, because that don't do you no favours. And I was busy. I thought I was busy, but this guy was ridiculous. And when it happened, I was shocked that it happened, but I wasn't. When I started thinking, I thought, yeah, he was under a lot of. He put himself under a lot of pressure that he probably should have shared. Yeah, and that's the guilt I felt, because I thought I was quite close. I thought he would have rung me. I thought he would have said, "Let's do it," but he didn't, and he took the other way out. And I'd say Gospel Trophy is 10 years next year, and I think his name comes up every week.
Yeah, right.
Not for just me. There's a group of people that knew him. He knew quite a lot of people, and they say his name will come up at least once a week, and no one's really got an handle on it, and that will affect everybody right through to the end, I think. And then it's a tragedy when you read these statistics that how many young men committing suicide. I know it's the biggest killer. I find that really upsetting, actually, because it's what is going on? Where's the pressure coming from? I think social media's got a lot to do with it. I really do. Yeah. I spend a lot of time on there working and that, and I see stuff and I think this is just wrong. I feel that quite strongly, but it's the life. It's the world we're in now, isn't it? We're in that world. We're all stuck in it. We're all doing it, and we're all telling people how great we are and what we're up to, and other people looking at thinking, that ain't me, I ain't doing that. Why am I doing that? Where's my invite? Why ain't I got a shout on that? And that is what, that's that fear of missing out stuff. I think that's where it comes from.
Exactly, yes.
Because you see a photograph thinking, well, hang on, and I'm guilty as anyone. I'll put stuff up, they go, how'd you do that? You go, well, look, I know it's a bit blaggy, but, look, I'm doing that. I'm gonna tell people. But you do feel a bit upwards thinking, perhaps I should have done that, really. But you're all caught up in this wave of, how great are we, other poor fellas or maybe women are sort of thinking, I've got a terrible life compared with that, and you haven't really, because it's all smoke and mirrors, as you know. Yes, most of it's other old cobblers, but it looks good. It looks good on a screen. It looks great, on a phone, But I know it's a difficult one. But I think, as I said earlier, getting to this age now, I've got an handle on it. I think. Well, I hope I have. I feel like, look, if you're having a better life than me, good luck to you. Yeah. I'm not going to compete with you. I used to compete. I used to be quite competitive and want to do this and want to do that. Now I've learned actually to let go. Like I'm not chasing work, and work will find you. It will find. It has found me, and I've gone. Look, I'm not. And people keep saying, I thought you were retiring. I'm trying, but I'm like, they keep dragging me back in, mate.
Oh, I don't think you'll ever retire, mate. Knowing you the short time I have,
it's definitely slower, Rich. It's definitely slower.
But like you say, I think you start to sort of look around you and go, actually, you know what, this is all right. My missus is cool.
Yeah,
I've got enough work. I'm doing all right. This is very. You start to reevaluate. It's a shame, like they say, you don't have that when you're younger. Yeah, but then I suppose if you had that when you were younger, you wouldn't achieve as much, I suppose.
Never listened, did you? Never listened to you younger. I've just drawn a pension from when I was in the print, right? And I took that out when I was 21. When I was 21, the old boys I worked with, who were probably my age now, were saying to me, get that pension under your belt. I'm going, I don't want a fucking pension. I don't want nothing. And now I put my hands together thinking, thank God they took me into it, because it's money that you would have just binned at that age. All I wanted to do was go out and enjoy myself. It wasn't thinking about, I'm never going to reach that age. That age is old people's age. But, you know, with a blink of an eye, you go through a door and you're 60, you know what I mean? It's just that quick. And, you know, youth is wasted on the young, as they say. You know, it's that one, isn't it? It's there, but you're just running around like a lunatic and you're not taking a lot of notice. And before you know it, you're seeing other young people coming through and you're trying to sell them what you were told. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think some of the people in that pub were looking back, with, you know, retrospectively, they were important, that pub, because they would say things and you might go away and think about it for about a week and think, what's he mean by that? You know, I don't quite understand that. And then gradually you sort of realise they're trying to give you little ideas and little tips and pointers. And my old man was a man of few words, unlike me, and he wouldn't say a lot, but he would do it. He would just show by example. You know, he was a grafter, and he would just go, "You're only going to get out what you put in," and there wasn't a lot of advice on too much really, but just put a shift in, you know, and you never know where it's going to take you, and that's really where you end up, yeah, thank God for that, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny with that, like talking about what you were talking about before. People that, because I know some people that have they're not with us anymore, and and you go, yeah, but we're all here, and there's loads of us, and
yeah,
and like the turnout as well for it was like, fuck me, there's loads of people here. I know, but it's amazing. And having gone through some shit the last couple of years, it's amazing how people are there for you. And they all come out the woodwork, they go, mate. And like the last couple of weeks, I've been doing gigs and seeing people, and they go, mate, you look like a different person.
Yeah, you do.
And you go, I thought I was all right. I went, no, mate, you look fucked. And it's only because all my mates kind of gathered around and went, oh, right, listen, we know you've been going through some shit, right, but don't worry about it. Like, again, let's have a cup of tea. Let's go for a walk up the park. Let's go and meet up. And
my mate Johnny Harris, the actor, says, you need people who put the kettle on.
Yeah,
that's a lovely phrase, that. Just need someone, hang on, stay there, put the kettle on. You need them people that slow it down, stop it, take half hour out a day, let's have a catch up. I mean, I did that film Jawbone with Johnny, with a boxing drama, but it really was more about addictions more than anything else, really.
Yes, boxing was like the beast, but they were like the underscore, wasn't it?
It's about a family, really. The boxing community was like a family to this fella in the film, and underneath that was his demons. But the only place he felt safe was in the boxing gym. Yeah. Well, the fella we were talking about earlier who committed suicide would have been absolutely perfect for that. Yeah, that was his game, and that's the one regret myself and John have both got, is that we didn't manage to persuade him or keep him involved. And he was around when we were talking about making that, and I thought, even then you're thinking, well, that was one thing he could have hung his hat on and got really involved with, and it just shows you that it's not enough sometimes. That's what I learned from the counselling, that some of these people are in a burning building. I always remember the phrase when we said they're in a burning building. They just got to get out of it. They just got to get out of it. You can't see it. You can't see what they're going through, but they've got to get out of that. And the only way out of it is doing what they've got to do. And you're thinking, well, if I tell him I'm doing this, or invite him to that, or bring him to this, or that'll change his mind. But I don't know. It's a very deep subject and tough. I think it's on an individual basis. Yeah. But I do think it takes a brave person to do it in a very strange way, because I can never see myself ever do anything like that, and I don't. And I think it's because I got people around me that show me or envelop me in some sort of love and said, look, you're like, you know, not that I have those faults. Be honest, I don't have those faults, but in the past I've had one or two like that. But the last 15, 20 years has been so full on that you're thinking it's a great community of people, and if I can survive in the middle of all that, and they'll keep an eye on you. And I know that the person that we're talking about had all that. I know he had all that, but it still wasn't enough. And that's the question I'm still asking myself 9 years later: why wasn't it enough? And what more could we have done? I don't beat myself up like I used to. I don't do that anymore, because I know that it's not healthy for me. But Only in the respect of I don't think I could have done anything. I mean, the next day after he'd done it, I went walking. I had to go for a walk, and I bumped into Johnny Harris. I bumped into him, and we spent about 5 hours talking about this because John's had his problems in the past. I won't go into that, but yes.
No.
And that's when we first bonded sadly over that. And he was telling me, I've had this problem, and I was saying, I had the same thing, back in year 2000, I had a terrible year, and it either makes you, or I think it might break you. I've got to be honest, it's one or the other, I think. And if it makes you, if you come out of it stronger, you just think, I'm gonna crack on here. I'm gonna just do what I've got to do. And it's tough, and there are moments when it looks hopeless, but you carry on doing it. And I think that you do need a bit of light and shade. I think you do need a bit of that. I don't think if it's all too nice and up, it's not reality.
No,
it's not reality.
That's
you need
true.
A bit of that downtime, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And I had it a couple of years ago. I was living down in Southend, and I just had a moment. It'd been kicking off at home, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm fucking done with it." And I went off. And I went up by the pier, and I was like, right, and fuck this. And then, I just had enough. But then I just sat in the car, and I was on the beach under the pier, and I'm walking up, and I'm like, I'm fucking done. I'm done. And I just started to think about my boys.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about other stuff, and I just started to cry. And I was like, fucking hell, I'm not going to do this. I'm just desperate for the shit to stop.
Yeah.
But so I had that. But then I can't imagine what it must be like to get to that point where you go, there's nothing stopping me.
No.
And that's like you say, there's nothing you can do about that.
No.
If someone's at that point, I don't really
think
know
so.
what you can say.
I don't think so. I mean, that's the question that everyone who knew him well was asking, and that's what they say to me, and I asked them as well, saying, what else could you do? What else? What else apart from physically grabbing hold of him?
Yeah.
And saying, where you going? What are you doing? But you don't want to do that. You want to, you don't feel like that's the place. But like I say, in the year 2000, I lost my job. Lou lost a baby, and my dad died.
Mate.
Right, in the space of about 6 months. And you know me quite well, and I was on my knees. I give up. I wasn't suicidal, but I give up. I give up on everything. I thought, I'm not going out anymore. I'm not doing anything. That'll do me. I was done. It was only Lou, really, of all the people I knew, I sort of thought, I've got to fight back. I've got to give myself time. I think that's what I learned. You give yourself a bit of time. Nothing hasty, nothing rash. Give yourself a bit of time. Yeah. But that baby was something we really, really wanted, and that topped it off. But then we told me dad really early, because my dad was dying of cancer. We knew there was no hope, so we told him Lou was pregnant. Right. Because I've got to tell him, because he's going to be gone before the baby arrives. And I said to him, don't tell anybody, because it's too early. But I'm telling you, of course, his eyes are quite on morphine. And everyone who come in, he told everybody. he told everybody in the family. Yeah. Marky boy's having a baby. He was so happy, right? Oh, and then, of course, he dies, and then the family I don't see a lot of started ringing me going, congratulations, and let us know when it's. I was like, actually, Lou's lost it. And it was that double wallop, and I was out of work as well, lost the job pretty much on New Year's Eve 1999. It's like one of them, that year you're thinking, fuck, And I got the end of it, and I said to Lou, I will shit or bust now. I'm going to come back, attack like crazy. That's where the idea for the book come from. Only in the respect, I thought of it as a love letter to my dad.
Yeah, right.
I thought he's gone. Right, let's pour all that. It's cathartic, really. Yeah. Pour all that anger, love, whatever it is, into a book about a group of men, really, that they're pretty much all died by that stage. I read it a few years after, when the book's set. Just to sort of say thank you, really. Thank you for, at one stage in your life, being there, listening to my bollocks over a vodka and coke, and pointing me in some sort of direction where I kept going, and then through doing that, and Paolo played a massive part in that, because that's what he did. I hadn't written anything by that stage. I've never done any writing at all. Yeah, right. And he said, this, that, the other, and he helped me through that process massively, and But I will say I was the seller. I was the one that was driving that to be, because most people would have give up after 10 books and gone, well, that's that done. I'm thinking, no, I'm going to keep going and go. Not expecting it to go anywhere where it went. I wasn't expecting that. Don't get me wrong, but I thought I'm going to make enough people read this to see what that life was like and what that love felt like for these people. But it just took off in another direction. I think that's why it became a film, because it was a book about groups of blokes, as you said earlier, all different age groups, which is quite unusual. You know, most pub groups are one age, really. You know, like your mates are your mates, and your old man's another little over there. But we were a strange little table of people. But it was, you know, piss take central. You would get ripped to pieces. I mean, to pieces. If you come out alive of that, you've done well. But
that goes back. That's what it used to be. I talked about this again on another episode. If they're taking the piss, it's because they love you.
Oh, it's an art. It's an art form. It's an art form. It's an absolute art. And what they used to do, the guys that did that were so dry, you didn't know if they were serious or joking. You had no clue. They had faces like stone. They were Buster Keaton, mate. They would come out with the most outrageous statement. You look at them thinking, is he joking? Yeah. You know, they were making you, you know, keeping you on your toes like you wouldn't believe. And and in a way, it was like an education. It was more like school than school. You know, you come out there thinking, I now feel ready for the world here, because I've been slaughtered and, you know, everything you can think of, but it's done with a smile at the end of it. You look over and thinking, this guy's just done me, and he just smile at you. He just laugh at you. You think, you know, listen, you're kippered, you're done. And they just laugh at you. They just laugh at you.
Yeah, but
it's an art form, mate. It's an absolute art, and I like to think I'm trying to keep that going as much as possible.
I've been there.
Well, I was thinking earlier. Do you remember when we first met?
Well, I met you. Was it at Darren's gig?
Well, no, it was. I remember it as he was saying to me, "Come up the morning. We're trying out drummers."
Oh yeah.
And you turned up to play. You turned up and played the drums, and I said to you, mate, you're not a drummer, you're more of a fucking comedian. And I think, I think I'll put you on your career path. I'm convinced.
One of the early voices that were going, no, mate, not this, but that. Go and do that.
Yeah, don't do that, mate.
Go and do that. Go and do that. But I mean,
they're making me eyes hurt, them notes. They're making me eyes hurt, mate.
Just like, not this.
Because none of us knew what we were doing. We all had a laugh and a giggle with it. But it was a bit like, that's what I remember. Listen, it was just one of those. And you met a lot of people in them early days.
Yeah.
And we still see them, you know, still see them. And it was a bit of I think a lot of that, them people there were all trying to find something else to do outside their 9 to 5 world.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of us were probably doing some job we didn't particularly like.
Yeah. But
you would have thought, there is something else we can do here.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is it? You know, Darren was music, you were like drumming, I'm running around like a blue-ass fly. But there was somewhere we could go, not necessarily all together. But I think that was, and I think that's what I'm saying. That when you rang me about this and said do it, I thought that's a long while to go. That, but yet, you know, listen, I'll watch out what you're doing. I'll keep an eye on your
same.
Congratulations on your recent marriage and
thanks, mate.
All that stuff. Seriously, I do, and I don't always show that out on that, but I like to, and Darren as well. I mean, God bless him. You know, I still think. To this day, I still think there's a tune in him. He's still got that going on. And he's trying. God bless him, he's trying. But I always
was it Fred the Shoe that called him? Oh, he's like relentless. He's like a pebble. Was it something like that?
Game as a pebble.
Game as a pebble. That was it.
That was Fred's famous. He's as game as a pebble. That boy. I'm not quite sure that means, but
I think
anyway, he would like, and he is, and I think I'll probably be embarrassed. He'd be embarrassed hearing this, but I think he thinks that I don't really give a fuck about what he's doing, but I really do. But I just can't. I couldn't do no more. I couldn't do any more. I tried every angle known to man, and then I thought I've got to go and do what I've got to do now. I'm put a couple of 3 years into this, and
of course
I've got to go. But I saw him the other week, a bit of dinner, and we get on great. I still keep an eye on him, and you know, and I wouldn't dare to advise or say anything anymore. It's his life and all that. And I think, good luck you, mate. You're doing what you want to do, and we've all come out of them years, and we're all right. We're having a go, and we're doing all right. We you know, nicking a living, and that's what you can do.
Well, I think that's it. I think again, I've had these conversations where there's certain people that that if I was to go, do you want a coffee? They go, yeah. It doesn't matter how long I haven't seen them for.
Yeah.
Like, Smiley and people like that. And you're like, and it just because it's just, there's an understanding on a level. It's like you're not like not talking to each other because you don't want to. You're just busy and you're doing stuff. And
I think because that's what I said about the social media thing. I think what that is, it's instant. Everyone can see what everyone's doing. It's instant. If you don't react to that instantly, or then or whatever you're supposed to do, it's seen as a bit of a slight, or you're not supporting me. It's not that. It's just seeing what you're doing, and you're okay. Yeah. That's all right. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
You're doing what you're doing. You're doing gigs. You're out and about. That's enough for me. If I saw you or someone, or you or Darren, and you're down and out in the street, I'd be like, what the fuck's going on? I'd be finding you. But you're not. You're out working. You're grafting. You've got your family. You've got, new things going on. That's enough. That's enough for me to think, right, that's good. He's all right. I can keep him. And that, to me, is important that's enough. And I stand by that. I don't. Otherwise, I think sometimes you're trying to be too much for people, and you can't keep that up. We've all got too much going on. You can't be there all the time, but you can be there enough to just be supportive in your own little way, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was one of the other things that the movie Jawbone really hit me with was the boys' clubs, like growing up. I remember because I used to be at Eltham, and I remember, and it was lads that didn't have much going on at home or wasn't good at home, and that's like with Jawbone. It underlined the importance of these clubs, be it boxing, be it football, be it music, be it whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. And John, Johnny was in real life was 13 and out of school. Out of school at 13. For whatever reason, I don't even know what. I can't say for certain. But the guy that ran the Mick Carney run the Fitzroy Lodge Boxing Club basically took him under his wing and said, "Look, I'll find you a little job. You got me a little job as a locksmith." So looked after him, as in you're not running the streets. You're going to go and get a job, and you're going to come here every night and you're going to box. Yeah. And John, he took John under his wing. And John won the junior ABAs. That's a very, very tough title. And he won that title at 16. And he had offers to turn pro or certainly go and train as a pro. And he didn't go that road. But that, he always says that 3 years, that formative time was taken care of by a bloke in a boxing club who hardly said a word to him. He just showed him what to do, and if he was out of order, he told him. If he was good, he might have said well done, but not overdid the praise. No, it was just like keeping him on the straight and narrow. Because John didn't have a dad of his own at home, so he had that bloke in the corner. Going back to your point a minute ago about you don't know where people are and people are looking at you and seeing what you're doing. Mate, I won't mention no names here, but my mate got put away for 10 years, right? And when the mumper was out, someone sent him a copy. And he wrote to me from Ford Open Prison. And I hadn't seen him for 15 years. And he said, I read that book and I had to reconnect with you. And I haven't seen him again for another 15 years.
Mate.
He just come out and I sit in, we don't have to keep in touch. We have seen each other fairly recently, but it's just like 15 years, like 15 minutes, Rich, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he knew where I was. I didn't know where he was. I had no idea he'd done that. Because, like, where I'm from, it was you're going to go one way or the other. There was a lot of boys going the wrong way, but I had an old man who was not having any of that. But he found me and I found him, and you're okay, you're all right when you get out. He went, yeah, I'm done with that. I'm not getting him. And he hasn't. He's been good as gold. So that's a point I'm trying to make. They'll find you. They'll somehow, somewhere, and that's important that you know that they're there if you need them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's what John was trying to get across with the boxing club. You know, by setting it in the boxing club, he was, the character in the film was on his uppers, goes back, and they look after him. Smiley and Ray Winston. Yeah. Tough love, very tough, but they give him somewhere to, go and stay and get yourself straight and. That was a wonderful experience being around that, mate. Seriously, that was just a dream dream gig, mate. It really was.
Oh, mate. Well, the beautiful thing about it is that you can see the love
Oh,
that Smiley and Ray Winston's characters had for Johnny's character.
Yeah.
This is why they didn't turn their back on him. Like, and that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you keep fucking up, but they see that there's they see that good in you.
Yeah,
and I've had that myself in real life where they've gone, you're a fucking idiot. Fucking right, just get in here and don't fucking do that again.
Yeah,
you need.
I mean, in the film, it was unspoken. Like, it was like the look. Ray Winston would look at John and go, and you know that he's going, right, like you just said, oh, for fuck's sake, he's back again, he's a nightmare, but I can't let him go. But he wouldn't say that to him. He just, coming in, it's, But I think what you're saying there is right, yin and yang. You need both sides. You need people who will get you and go, for fuck's sake, what are you doing? And you listen to them people.
Yeah.
And other people are just watching you. And if you really, really fuck up, then they step in. But they don't do it till it's getting really bad.
Yeah.
Because they think there's other people who are around him closer than I am, and let him take a little bit of that. And the trouble is, one or two, unfortunately, as we know, slip through, and that's the problem. That's the end game. That becomes end of an era stuff, and it's like fuck.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that really, that's what troubles me with it. But thankfully, it's not a regular occurrence. It's just it's happened, and we've all got to make the best of it, I suppose. It's just got to keep going, haven't you? Really, and I think that's what we are. I think that's what you are. I am, and other people we know, survivors, if you like, and just keeping it straight as possible, doing your very best. Not being a J. Arthur, and just do what you got to do,
I think that's it. I mean, it's that's why it's easy to go, oh, this is too much effort. But it's the fact that doing this podcast, just talking to you, just you doing what you've been doing, other people that I know and we know that are doing what they're doing in their own little way, it's important. And it just having like some of the messages I get from this podcast. You don't realise that people go, or I saw there was people at gigs and they go, mate, I met you 10 years ago, and you said blah blah blah, and I'm like, did I? And they go, yeah, and they go, but from that I went and did this other thing, and I'm like, oh fuck. So just by talking to people and being open, and you never know who you're going to influence, what changes you're making, and other people as well. They've done it to me, and I've gone, when I saw you at blah blah. And they're like, I don't remember that, mate. And I'm like, but that moment changed. It put me on a different path.
Yeah, absolutely. So, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the same thing to me in some ways, but I've got the same thing with other people, where people I admire or say something and do something and think, right, that's how you do that. Yeah. That's how to do it properly. And I'll look at that and think, right, that influences me. And then by me doing it, it influences someone else. Exactly. I mean, there's a young man, I won't mention names, but a young man who does a blog, who's become a sort of friend through that. He's a lot younger than me. I think he's in 30 yet, and he was having a bad time. I saw online, basically moaning that people were not ringing him up and getting him out for a beer, and what have I done? And you could say, a bit needy that, and come and son, liven yourself up. But he's not like that. He isn't. He was. I've never seen him like that. So I sent him a private message and said, that's what I'm saying about keeping an eye on it, and then step in when you're thinking, what the fuck's going on here? And I was sitting, what's going on? He went, I can't get nothing working. The blog's not really taking off, and I'm feeling a bit left out of this. And I said, listen, it ain't all as I always say, no one gets a coconut every time, mate. You know what I mean? It don't work every time. Sometimes it's going to be a duffin. You just got to take it on the chin, and then come back and don't do it that way again, and try another angle. And I felt like my dad talked to me. I felt like an old man, someone. Yeah. And then this week, 3 weeks later, he's just messaging me saying, "Cheers for that, Bex." I said, I was making a bit of a practice. I said, "No, you weren't. You were just being a bit honest, and that's not a bad thing to be. But you got to man up a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit, and say, I've got to." That's a dangerous phrase, that man up. I know that because people say, "Well, yeah, it's all right saying it," but. I knew him well enough to know that he wasn't like that, and he just got a bad cut of ours and poured it out on a keyboard, right, which is what people do nowadays. But at least he flagged it up. I thought it was a bit of a flag, and he said to me, thanks for that. And
mate, well done.
Listen, I wasn't doing it for any I wasn't going to, I ain't told anybody but this, it was private message. But I just felt like it was time to do that. And as you're saying, every now and again, you just feel like I've got to either say something to him, or they got to say something to me. I need some help here. I need someone to say, am I doing this right? I mean, Lou, my missus is my sounding board. I always say to Lou, before I do this email or ring this bloke up, what do you reckon of this? And I always have a bit of a sounding board, because I like to make sure that I'm not going to make a massive clunker here. And it's nice to have that person who's not necessarily in the industry, who hasn't got a lot of interest in the industry, really, to be totally honest, but just as a person-to-person thing, it's a right way of doing it, and being respectful and saying the right things, and that goes a long way. That leading by example thing, isn't it? It's just doing it right, and it's just it's a continual learning thing, isn't it? Every day, it's just and people and minds, and it's all every day's another way of getting through that day without making a complete prat of yourself, really. Sometimes. And I keeping an eye on people,
Oh God, yeah. And I think keeping in mind as well, like you already said about social media and other things, there's that tendency to think that everyone else is smashing it and you're not, and it's been really interesting. People it's interesting to know that people that are seen as hugely successful, they've even had their moments. Like Suggs had his moments, and Weller's had his moments.
Absolutely, mate.
And you go, but these people they've been pushing themselves on, but they've had their time when they've gone, what the fuck?
Yeah,
what am I going to do now?
I'm frightened to say names, but I won't say names. But I was at a thing. I did a thing with a really big filming thing for us, a music-based filming thing we did, and the lead man, fucking, he's an icon. Yeah, he sat next to me on the sofa and said, "I've been up since 3 o'clock, fucking worried sick about this today." I looked at him, I thought, fucking hell. I didn't think he'd worry about anything.
Yeah,
the things that they've achieved, you're thinking. You have no worries at all, but he said it to me. I said, "I fucking couldn't sleep. I've been up all night thinking this ain't gonna work." And I'll come up, and I've not. That was years ago, and I haven't forgotten that. And thought, "Fucking hell, they're human, aren't they?"
Yeah, everyone is. And I think I think that's what underlined. That was one of the things I took from the lockdowns, is that everybody got affected the same. Everyone. It was all, all right, they were doing Zoom, and maybe their houses are a bit bigger than yours or whatever, but at the same, they're still locked indoors. They're still having to get Deliveroo or whatever it is they're doing.
It was a real leveller. It was a real leveller. It really was. And that, again, and someone said the other day, it's a reset button. It's a reset button.
Yeah.
It's what you do with it, what you personally do with it. That's what I'm going through, is what you personally do with it. Whereas I wasn't thinking before that I got ill. I wasn't thinking. Before it was lockdown, I was out 3 nights a week, up early in the morning. Yeah. I was on the piss. I was eating bad. I was running around like a lunatic. And then I got really ill. I got locked down for a while, obviously, we all did. Then I got ill. And I come out there, and I thought, I burnt out. I was gone. I was done. That's why I got so ill. I was so tired and not in great shape. I got really ill with it. And I thought, I can't be doing this. This is fucking madness. For what? Who am I trying to impress? Some bloke on fucking Facebook. You know what I mean? What is the point of this? I give myself a proper check-up and thinking, you've been going down the wrong path like everybody else. You're running around like a fucking lunatic, and for no real reason apart from you can, and people, and it's great. But what is it achieving for yourself and in your career? And if you can't actually, well, basically, if you're fucking dead at 60, what's the point? So I come out thinking, I ain't doing it no more. And it's a struggle, because we're all we're quite social animals, me and you, aren't we? We like a bit of that, but I've thankfully reached a stage where I don't feel like I need to do it, which is, I keep saying that, and Facebook keeps coming back saying, "Oh, look at you missed out on. We was all out last night in the pub. Look, it's 15 of us. Look." You're thinking, "Fuck it." A good old laugh at. But then next day you're thinking, at least I ain't waking up with the hangover. You know what I mean? I'm pretty rough. So you take the positives out of it. Thinking,
and you'll probably go to the next one. You'll go to the next one.
Well, listen, I'll top it. I'll have 85 people tomorrow. You know what I mean? That's where the competitive thing comes in. Oh, you think that's the drink, do you? Hang on, have a bit of this one. Anyway,
but it's knowing that you don't have to be at every gathering, all the time. Because then, and the other side of it is when I do see people, it's nice. We've got loads to talk about.
Yeah.
It's a nice. It's going. I ain't seen you in fucking ages. You know,
Yeah.
like when you end up in the Blue Post on Berwick Street, and that's the one. That's the deadly one for me.
Black hole, that place.
I can't. Every time you're in there, there's gonna be someone.
I've come out of there, and I don't even know if I'm in fucking Venezuela or fucking Venice. I don't know where I am, and it's like I went in there a packet of crisps and that famous one drink, and honestly, you walk in there could be 25 people, you know, in there.
Yeah.
That's a heavy session then.
Don't be sat in a corner over the back, and you go.
Yeah, you have to have the next day in your diary blanked out, thinking, you know, before you go anywhere near that place, because you ain't going to be able to do a lot if you get caught in the wrong company. And also, it's a fucking arm and a leg to buy around the drinks. Like you end up,
no,
you know, 50 quid. You think, you know, I mean. Listen, they're funny people. That's the thing. You can tolerate it to a point, but I mean, there's certain places, and I do get a bit of stick about that because, you know, where are you? Like text message saying, "Fucking as far away from you as possible." That's where I am.
Well, I'm one of them. And the thing is with me, I haven't got a lot of money, and when I only have to have a couple of drinks, and then I'll get these.
I need that one. No, that is, you know, the worst thing you can be in life is someone who don't stand their corner. In my world, in my corner, that was. That's the worst thing in the world. You could ever be that. In fact, you had to be the first. You was fighting to be the first one to get the drinks. You were fighting. So I mean, you were brought up that way, you know, and that you do feel like when it goes a bit quiet, and no one's jumping up to get the drinks, and you're thinking, I better do this because this is getting embarrassing. And I feel that, I feel that pressure. But no, it's nice to know that people want you to go out and be part of that. But you got to do things for yourself after a certain age, I think, because. You know, just trying to keep them happy and having a great time's good, but I've got to pick, as Lou calls it, pick the battles. You know what I mean? You've got to pick and choose when you can do that. And I've got to be honest, a lot of people I know and you know don't drink anymore either. No. They're all giving it up, right? For one reason or another. So it will be a cup of coffee. You know, it's quite, in a way, it's quite refreshing. I like a drink, but if you're in a company and you're the only one drinking.
Yeah,
you become the leper. You know.
It's
like it's weird. It's a weird thing.
I'll tell you what,
you're sitting there getting pissed and they're not.
No, I'll tell you what's nice as well. I remember being in Bar Italia, and I was sitting there with a mate, and it was one of them afternoons. The afternoon was just crashing along. We're drinking coffee, having a nice time, and I got up. And I went, I'll have another couple of coffees, please. And he went, you've had 4. Goes, no, that's the first time I've been cut off from coffee. It was, what's his name? I can't remember his name.
Luca.
Yeah, it was him.
The King of Sour. I call him the King of Sour, that man.
It was him. He went.
He's a funny. He likes to drink. I'll tell you, I've been out with him a few years. He likes a sherbet, Guinness.
Fucking hell.
Oh no, I've been out a Christmas drink and he was drinking the place dry. Jesus. And it was having very little effect on him. He's a dangerous man. Very dangerous. And he was up next day, he's opening the bar up at 6 the next morning, he was there, he's like, I mean, I'd have been hanging for days. He was like, he's a dangerous man.
Some people are like that, they're like Lemmy from Motorhead, it's almost what keeps them going.
Yeah, I've reached the stage where I can't do that no more, and I'm quite happy to admit that. But we do occasionally fall off that wagon, and a good time is had. I've got to say, a good time is had. But you know, you've got to be a bit ration a bit more of that now.
And I tell you what, Mark, I'm glad we did this. I've been meaning to do this since we spoke a couple of years ago, and then obviously shit happened, and then
there was a pandemic got in the way, didn't it, and whatever. But listen, it's nice to be asked, because I remember when you asked me the first time, I thought, yeah, that's a great thing to do, and. I'm honoured to be asked and delighted to. Well, do you know what? It's nice to see you, basically.
Yeah, you too, mate.
I'm not blowing smoke anywhere. It's just a fact, because we don't see each other very often, but we do. We know we're out there. That's the main thing, and that's enough for me. And it's great to do it, mate. And I think you're doing a fantastic thing here. And
thanks, mate. I really appreciate
having me on here talking old nonsense for half hour. Gets you a couple of people checking it out, and also checking out the old shows, which I've done on a regular basis. And the different walks of life is fantastic. Different stories and different perspectives on it all. And that's important. It's not the same people all the time.
Yeah.
You know, having that diverse thing is so important, that you get a different angle from different worlds, and
Mate.
everyone sees it, and that's the thing. That's why human nature is so fascinating. Everyone sees it differently. It's a lovely thing, but it's also a dangerous thing, you know. But it's great.
No, it's great, mate. And honestly, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come on, because that's the thing. There'll be people listening that will listen to someone like you and go, and then they won't feel so bad about talking about these things,
so.
you know. And that's what we're trying to achieve.
I hope so. I mean, I have had that said. Had that said because I've done a few things that like people don't expect me to do. I don't know what they pigeonhole me in as. I've got my own ideas on that, but they seem to think I'm going to be one thing, like very one-dimensional. I've spent my entire life confusing people, which I quite enjoy. I actually quite enjoy that. And if like doing something like this, which is a very important subject, and if it brings another couple of people to have a listen to it, thinking, what's that silly old fucker talking about? Then that will do. Listen, it brings people to the table, and then I know for a fact there's people who could do hearing a bit of this, and if it helps, fantastic.
Mate, honestly, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so
very
much, Mark.
mate.
And where can we find you on the socials and things like that if you want to be found?
Well, Facebook, yeah, I'm on there quite a lot, but Twitter as at the Mumper, which is obviously in homage to the book. Instagram, I don't really get as much on there.
No.
I find that a bit blaggy. I must be honest. I find that a bit too blaggy. It's like, it's a bit too photo-led, and we're all wonderful and fantastic looking and all that. And I'm thinking, it's not really my world. So I'm on there occasionally, but I think Facebook is where I put most of my shenanigans.
Lovely. Right. Well, we'll attach all the links and that to this
please do.
episode, and any links to any like books and things like that you want to like. Are you on Audible and things like that, or
no? I'm not actually.
No.
I've been asked to do all that, but I'm a funny fucker. Me, I'm like, job done. Next one, please.
Yeah.
I've got quite a lot of stuff out there, but listen, if you can find it, and I'm a bit like that. I'm a seller. I've always been a seller, but I know when to stop. It can be a little bit like, I'm great, I am. Look, I'm fucking great, me. I've got 27 books. Here's another one. I'll do enough of that. Believe me, I'll do enough of that. I don't want to keep going back and saying, oh, look, I haven't mentioned this for 3 minutes. There's another one I did. It's not really. I feel awkward. I feel icky about all that.
I know.
So, listen, you can find me.
Lovely. Thanks, Mark.
Brother.
Been a pleasure.
Top man.
Insane in the membrane.